What's good, everybody? Spektrades back here. In this video, we're going over our best London session strategy that requires no daily bias. Foremost, my name is Wendell, but I go by the alias Spektrades. I am a full-time day trader and have been in the financial markets for half a decade. I specialize in ICT smart money concepts. My goal is to simplify smart money concepts and help you shorten your path to success. If you want to stay up to date with me, make sure to check out my Instagram at Spektrades. I have been a mentor to over 1,000+ students, and if you want to join me for daily trading plus private lessons, you can just click the link in my bio. Find all the links. You know, my Instagram, I post reels and I just post daily markups to keep you updated and always keep you refreshed. Without further ado, let's get. Before we hop on the charts, we have to go over our criteria on how we are going to execute this strategy. So to use this strategy, we will be using our Asian session, right? The Asian session will be our main key to set up this strategy. So first and foremost, I'm going to need you guys to download this indicator right here. It's just a simple Asian range indicator. It's called Rangebox by Nephew Sam. I use this right here to show me exactly where was the Asian session, because we'll be utilizing the Asian session for this strategy. So first, we have to understand our power of three. So the power of three works like this. Price is going to work in accumulation phase, where price is going to build orders, and then price is going to manipulate either the high of the range or the low of the range. So let's say price manipulates the high, and then price is going to distribute. And with that distribution comes, after price gives us our distribution and then a market structure shift of this other low, right? A breakup structure of the low, price will then come back, right? Give us a slight pullback where we can enter for price to distribute. So the power of three is accumulation of orders, manipulation of old high or old lows, and distribution, where price is going to give us a slight pullback into a type of point of interest where we can enter, and then where price is going to distribute. So once we understand this simple concept right here, then we're going to understand this strategy. So our Asian session lines it up perfectly for us, right? When we trade the London session, because the Asian session will set up the accumulation phase for us. So the first part of the power of three is over, right? The first part, we understand it, right? The first part is the accumulation. So the Asian session will set up the accumulation for us. That's for number one, right? The Asian session is gonna set it up for us for our accumulation phase. For London session now to come in, either manipulate the Asian session highs or the lows clean. So for our times that we are trading this, we're mainly going to be trading the manipulation side and just catching us a slight pullback to then distribute into New York session. So the time we trade this is from 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. right? That's for anybody. If you are ever out of the country and you are able to trade London session, this is a clean and easy strategy that requires no daily bias, right? You just got to execute it once during a certain time with this certain setup. So the setup is a manipulation of Asian highs or Asian lows / old highs or old lows, right? Depends on where you are during the trend, right? So if the price already manipulated Asian highs and now it's like 3 a.m. and you already missed this big move right here, you can catch the continuations, right? When price is building up lower time frame internal range liquidity, and for price to just manipulate those old highs and for you to just come back and enter, right? And just catch you the continuation part of it. And then as you can see here, and then for the entry, which is gonna scale down, right? Once price has cleared also on the Asian highs or the Asian lows, which is gonna scale down to the lower time frames on the 1 minute or the 3 minutes, right? To look for a market structure shift, a breakup structure of the old highs or old low if we are in a sell pattern. So we're just gonna look for a market structure shift in a buy or a old low, right? We're just gonna look for a market structure shift of the old high if we're in a buy format. So this is a sell, and then this is a buy. Price is just gonna manipulate the Asian lows to then give us a breakup structure. For our point of interest, we're just gonna look for a 1 minute to 3 minute fair value gap or a order block, right? So after price give us our breakup structure on the lower time frames, price is just gonna give us a slight pullback. We're just gonna target a fair value gap or a order block to then target the old recent lower time frame low, right? That's for our target is the last recent lower time frame low. This is gonna be a lower time frame scalp, a quick entry, right? This happens all the time. It doesn't require no daily bias, right? Once an old high or an old low happens, right, and you get a displacement in the market structure shift, then, right, so we're going to be executing this on the 15 minutes. That's another thing I forgot to mention. We're going to be executing this on the 15 minute time frames, but we scale down on the 1 to 3 minutes time frame, right? So let me just, this is the prerequisites right here. This is the criteria. Let's go over it once again. So we're looking for the power of 3 movements during the London session. So as you can see, the Asian session set it up perfectly for us for the first phase of the power of 3, the accumulation phase. So now when London session starts, London session is not gonna manipulate the Asian highs or the Asian lows, whichever one London session manipulates first. And then what we're looking for is then we're gonna scale down on the 1 minute to the 3 minutes and look for a market structure shift or a breaker structure of the old lows or an old high. And then we're gonna wait for price to give us a pullback into a fair value gap or a order block, just like we see here. And then where we're targeting the old lower time frame high or an old lower time frame low for the quick profit. So we may see this like this: the Asian highs get cleared, and then the lows, price comes back, fair value gap, push back down, and now with every fair value gap, price is just gonna build liquidity for price to come back, and you catch the continuation. And if you miss this one also, after every fair value gap, price is just gonna come back and you catch the continuation, and until price reaches an old low, right? Until price reaches an old low. And if price may look like this also, price may just be building up liquidity and then purge lower. Now we got a break of the old low, price is just gonna come back. You may not want to catch this entry also, but now that price give you a second break of structure, right? Now this is an entry that's more confirmed, right? After this second break of structure, price is gonna come back, respect this old high right here, push back down again, and then give you another break of structure, and then price is gonna build internal range liquidity to come back and mitigate again for you to come back all the way to clear that old low. So it may look a lot of different ways, but the execution is the same way, right? It doesn't matter if the highs or the lows get taken, or it may look like this also. It's not always gonna look picture perfect as this schematics, so you need to backtest a lot to train your eyes to see this a lot of times. So now let's hop on the charts and see this live in action. Now we're on the chart. The first thing we have to see is what happened during our Asian session. So as you can see, our Asian session just rallied up here, boom, and then as you can see during London session came and manipulated these old highs right here perfectly. So as soon on the 15 minutes, our old highs get taken clean, then we're gonna scale down to the 3 minutes or the 1 minute, right? Whichever shows you the best price action for us to see a market structure shift, and then our fair value gap to enter. And where we're gonna target is our old low. So now let's get down to the lower time. And as you can see, as soon as price taking our old highs right here, taking our Asian highs and our old highs clean, so the London session is going to do the manipulation, right? So as you can see, as price taking the old highs, what we're looking for, we're going to look for a market structure shift of our old lows right here. So as you can see, price came down here, but didn't give us a firm body breaker structure. But as you can see, price came and gave us a breaker structure of these swing lows right here. Now this is a 1 minute, right? This is a 1 minute, and price give us a breaker structure of these swing lows right here. We have one low that's lower than the previous low, and then we have another low that's lower than this low right here. So this is our swing low. So boom, your first entry, right, just like I was stating, your first entry is like the risk entry. You can take this pullback right into this fair value gap clean, or if you don't like this entry, right, this usually not my favorite entry just because it's not confirmed yet first, right? So this is our first breaker structure. Personally, I like to wait for a second breaker structure of old lows. So as you can see here, we're still on 1 minute, but we get a second breaker structure, and now that second breaker structure now confirms it for me that price now wants to go lower. So now what I'm looking for is just a fair value gap or a order block. So as you can see, we have this fair value gap here. We can just take this whole range, I would say, right? It's just 2 fair value gaps in one clean on the 1 minute, where we just put the stop loss right at these old highs, target old lows. We're just on the 1 minute executing this simple strategy. As you guys can see during the London session, the first thing we have to see is for an old high or an old low to get taken, and then we're gonna scale down to the lower time frame, so the 1 minute or the 3 minutes, whichever shows us the best correct price action to execute this strategy. So after our old high or old low gets taken, we're just gonna scale down and look for a market structure shift or a breaker structure, right? Whichever title we want to give it, to then give us confirmation that price now either wants to buy or wants to sell in a sell format. And just like I stated, if you miss these 2 entries, we're just looking for price to give us more breaker structures. As you guys can see, price give us another breaker structure of these old lows, and then price is building up liquidity, right? All of this is happening during the times, right? From 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. So price is just building up liquidity So this is another entry right here, clean, because price is just gonna pick up those liquidities, sweep them. You can put another entry here where your stop loss at the entry of your previous one, right? Clean, where you're targeting the same old lows, right? Clean. We're not going for big targets, right? Because we're on the lower time frames executing this right here. So we're not going for the whole range. We're not going to attack Asian lows. We're just on the lower time frames scalping and just seeing this simple strategy play out. Now let's look at another example. Then as you can see, price builded our Asian session and then price purged lower and then give us a breakup structure of the Asian lows. Clean. Now we're not just gonna start chasing price. We have to wait for price now to give us a pullback, right? After every breakup structure, price is gonna give us a pullback. So we're just waiting for that pullback, and then what we see a fair value gap right here, clean on the 15 minutes perfectly. And now that price came back inside of our fair value gap, we're just gonna scale down to the lower time frame. So now let's mark this our 15-minute fair value gap. Now let's scale down to the 3 or the 1 minute, whichever will show us the correct price action. And as you can see, price pulled back inside of this 15-minute fair value gap, clean. And now what we're looking for is a market structure shift. So as you can see, these old lows right here, price came back and tap into these old lows and give us a breakup structure. So you can either grab your OTE, and now you can either target the 0.705. That's a cool range to target from. This could be your first entry. Price coming back to clear inducement highs, right? This could be your first entry, or if you want more solid breakup structure, right? You can either wait for an old low to get taken after price taking this entry. Clean. Now that a second breakup structure has been given, you can now scale back up, either catch a order block or a fair value gap. So we see this fair value gap right here. We're just gonna take our second entry right here. Stop loss at this old high right here. If price come back up here, we won't expect it to go down. What we're targeting, right? Our old low right here. Clean. This is just 2 entries right here during the London session, right after our old lows get taken, right after our Asian low or our Asian highs get taken. Clean. This is just a simple strategy that requires no daily bias. You're just waiting for the Asian session high or the Asian session low to get taken, and then for price to pull back inside of a fair value gap or a order block for you then to scale down to the 1 minute or the 3 minutes, in whichever shows you the best price action for you to execute this simple strategy. I hope you guys go on your charts and backtest this and see it for yourself and see how it works and get acclimated to this. If you are interested in joining my Patreon, it's patreon.com/SpecTradersHub, or the first link in the description. And right here we have the Spektrades Hub, where you can access the live trading with me every single morning on the Zoom calls. And right here we have our main scalping mastery strategy course right here that we have also. So is it. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Spektrades out.